Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News, reporting from Dorchester Square in Montreal, where Quebecers are gathering to protest Bill 96, the Legault government's controversial language law meant to strengthen French in the province.
We are also proud to be a Francophone nation in North America, and it's our duty to protect our common language, and I invite all Quebecers to speak it, to love it, and to protect it. And unfortunately, in Montreal, in many small companies, people work in English. So we have to change that to send a strong message.
Bill 96 is a major update to Bill 101, Quebec's original French language charter. Passed in 2022, the law claims to protect French, but critics argue it comes at the cost of basic rights, services, and especially the English-speaking community. To pass it, the CAQ government, the François Legault government, used the notwithstanding clause, allowing them to override parts of the Charter of Rights and Freedom, a move that sparked widespread concern. What's fueling today's protest? Recently, LaSalle College was slapped with a $30 million fine for enrolling too many students in its English programs. Proof, protesters say, that the law is now punishing bilingual education. And remember Mama Can? The restaurant forced to stop giving out free meals simply because the coupons were printed in English. On top of that, investors are pulling back, put off by the law's complex compliance rules and red tape, whether it's schools, businesses, or community services. Many say Bill 96 is dividing Quebec more than it's helping. So the big question is it actually protecting French or just targeting those who don't speak it and prevent Quebecers from being bilingual? There is an elephant in the room that nobody wants to address, and it's mass immigration without proper integration. We will be speaking with protesters here to find out more.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Bill 96 has got to go. Ho, ho, hey, hey, rights are rights, we'll fight and stay. The government of Quebec has spent those same decades attacking successful institutions in Quebec for being too bilingual.
Right. Well, the protest that we're at today is because they've imposed an enormous $30 million fine on LaSalle College. And that's something that the college simply cannot afford to pay. They have an overall budget of $79 million. And they're imposing it because of things that LaSalle College could not even prevent. Because they have an obligation. When the law was brought in, they already had accepted a certain number of international students, and they can't just cancel those contracts, but the government didn't give them enough time to conform with the law. And so as a result, they're threatening them with this enormous fine that's going to destroy them. And that's going to bring, if it goes through, it's going to bring an end to a very well-known, internationally respected school here in Montreal, and that doesn't benefit anyone.
And we're all here today because the CAQ government has now passed laws that seem intended to destroy them completely, openly using the notwithstanding clause to introduce measures that they know violate Canadian law and international human rights standards.
Because we think that it's a very destructive law, one that's going to have, that has terrible effects on the social and economic fabric of Quebec. And it does nothing good. It doesn't promote French in spite of what its proponents are trying to suggest.
Just before Bill 96 was enacted, the OQLF itself recognized that French here has remained stable since at least 2007. And even if that weren't true, Bill 96 does nothing to promote French. It only punishes English.
Bill 96 has been protested many times over the last few years. The court cases are still pending. The court against 96 and all the notwithstanding clause, it's all being contested. That takes years in court. But today it was initiated by the Quebec government fining LaSalle College $30 million for teaching too many English classes.
I don't believe in a decline of French because I believe that the people are waking up. There are more more languages that's going around the world and so on, and c'est complètement stupide. I think that Bill 96 does not protect a language, but is more used to hurt a language. And I think that the Francophones should wake up too, because when this passed, the Bill 96, the CAQ used the pandemic to turn the people's attention away from them. And so if you ask Francophones today if they know about Bill 96, nobody knows about it. And there's nothing in there that protects language.
I'm thinking the unfairness is that we lose our rights in sort of the English community and maybe even the Italian community. We all pay the same taxes, but we don't get back the same rights. For we all should have the equal representation by dollars paid.
There should not be discrimination. For example, we believe that students should be able to select which cégep they want to go, and that cégep should be free to go to, and the cégep should be free to admit them.
Think about our passport. On page 17, in very small writing, almost need a magnifying glass to see it. Here is what our passport says. Canada is free, and freedom is its nationality. And in another page, 2 pages later, very tiny handwriting, you have to ask yourself, how come these little quotes are so small? You need a magnifying glass to see them. And that tells you something about Canada too, that our freedom has been reduced so that we need a magnifying glass to see it.
Well, I don't think Canadians in general are sufficiently aware of the evils and the pernicious effects of the notwithstanding clause. It doesn't get used in the rest of Canada very much, and if it gets used, it's for very technical reasons. Here in Quebec, it's used to deprive people of their fundamental rights. It's outrageous. It's pernicious. It's evil to take away people's rights using this law, which Canadians were promised when it was first introduced it would rarely be used. It would be such an unusual circumstance. It was used here in Quebec regularly, and it's used in a preemptive manner. Even before the law is even adopted, it's part of the law is the notwithstanding clause.
What are the historical origins of the power of disallowance? They go back to the founding of this country 150 years ago and more. If you look at the Confederation debates, you will see certain Anglos in Quebec were not happy about the idea of creating Quebec because they said our rights are going to be subservient to majority Francos, and how can we trust them? We don't know if they will deal with these rights in a proper manner. And a Francophone member of Parliament got up and he said, we would never attack your fundamental rights. And if we did, he said, 150 years ago and more, if we did, you have the power of disallowance and it would be used to protect you.
The inspectors from the language police can come into your office, take your phone, take your computers, examine them all. They don't need a warrant, they just seize them and see if you've been behaving yourself or not. That's outrageous. That's not how things should be done in a democratic society. All of these things are what the government wants. They want to reduce the size of the English-speaking community. It's an anti-Anglo bit of legislation. It has nothing to do with the protection of French.
It's hurting Quebecers because of the reputation it creates for Quebecers as a place. It's hurting a lot of education. People will not come to Quebec to study. And some of the people after we study here would stay here. So we will lose the benefit of their intelligence. We call it the brain drain. You know, we don't have them coming here and servicing us. So I go in a hospital and you find a doctor, maybe he's not that qualified, but a really smart doctor from Afghanistan, he might go to Ontario.
Like I have a friend, he's a musician, he's a well-known Quebec songwriter, and he told me, he says, you just watch French television, it's so low, the quality is addressing people that don't have much education. He says, I can't watch it, I get sick. And he's a well-known Quebec artist. But he says, so I don't know myself, but he says this, and he says, to improve the quality of French, upgrade, don't deliver your shows to the lower, deliver it to the higher and bring people, elevate people, don't bring them down. He says, I can't watch French television because it's too low class.
Why do you think that Mr. Legault decided to do a reform and to bring a harsher bill on the French language?
Well, I think that he benefits from it politically. I think that our politicians are very happy when people are afraid of each other and when they feel that they're under threat. So when he says il faut qu'on protège la langue française, that resonates with a lot of people, because it's true that there is a history and there is a strong fear that French is under threat. But today, I don't think that's the case. The OQLF itself said that since 2007, French in Quebec has remained stable. So there's really no need to it. I think that's more for his political gain than to actually help anyone. And the provisions of the bill do not actually promote French. They only punish English.
I think he wanted to create a distraction, like Donald Trump does, creates a lot of distractions. Because he failed on promises to put a bridge in Quebec, Lévis. He failed on that, and so he creates a distraction, and if you get a group to hate, you can hate them, you're focusing on that group. It's a divide and conquer.
We want to show you the other side of the story. We want to bring you stories like that, and if you like it, please consider making a donation to rebelfieldreports.com, and thank you in advance to support our work.